Hello there, my very good friends. On today's wrestling news, the real reason WWE wants to put AEW out of business.
Plus, could a TNA sale be happening? I'm Adam Wilborn.
What is going on?
Yeah, this is the news.
I feel like we're woken up to about 70 different wrestling stories this morning.
I love it.
TNA stuff. We'll have some interesting TNA versus AEW stuff later on today, by the way, in our second video. Ace Austin signed for AEW, according to Tony Khan as well. There's all kinds of stories going around today, but the first one we're going to talk about is WWE trying to kick AEW in the butt. So there's a lot of this going on at the moment, right? With counter-programming, we know that the September pay-per-view, the Brock Lesnar-John Cena match is seemingly going to go head-to-head with AEW. Is it Full Gear?
All Out.
All Out, sorry, of course.
I did see that they were allegedly planning to change when John Cena's final match is to counter-program Worlds Collide, I believe, this year.
World's End.
World's End, thank you.
Imagine that, we're countering our own NXT show, AAA show. We'll talk about that actually in this next video, but for this one, let's talk about Dave Meltzer on Wrestling Observer Radio, talking about WWE's tactics here, talking about the constant counter-programming, counter-pay-per-viewing, whatever you call
Premium live eventing.
So apparently WWE's strategy is that they're trying to decrease AEW's market share so they don't get a new TV deal. I'm going to read this to you from Dave. I won't read it to you in his style because then we'll be here for 20 minutes. God bless him. That is certainly the story that's going around, that they wanted to move from December 13th to December 27th, talking about that Saturday night's main event, which we will clarify later on. Given all the actions and everything that has been done, of course they want to. It isn't the only thing. There is so much going on that will probably be breaking in the next couple of months when it comes to different things. They really want WWE, that is, they really want TNA to become the other promotion because they can control TNA. This is a full-on major court press. No, that's not how you say that. Basketball people are going to kick my ass.
Full court press.
This is a major full court press.
Yeah.
There you go. They just want Tony Khan out of the box, and they know if the numbers stay good, he's going to get a renewal, a new TV deal at a much bigger number, just like they did. He's already very profitable. The number will probably make him incredibly profitable, and they'll never get away from him or anything like that. So they feel they need to make sure this is the last contract. So yeah, it's just aggressive competition. The biggest company in the game is flexing their might. They're trying to run the second biggest company out of town. It's capitalism, it's competition, it's brutal, it's cutthroat, it's ugly, it's nasty.
It's not going to work.
It's not going to work. If you are just a wrestling fan who wants to just enjoy your shows, it's a pain in the ass.
Yes, that's the main thing, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's one of those, I'm not surprised by this whatsoever. Obviously, you know, we've seen throughout the year and in previous years them trying to counter-program AEW or trying to cut the legs out from underneath them from day one, even before day one, because they had the 2-week run-up with NXT, of course.
And they try to do it with Evolve of all things, like
yes.
like back in 2019. It's wild, yeah.
Yeah, and like I say, it's not going to work. I mean, their TV deal goes to 2027?
Yes.
Top of my head?
Yes. I think so.
And like you said, I don't think the number's going to change that much. They might go up slightly, they might go down slightly. We still don't really know the exact details of their streaming numbers on HBO Max or whatever it's being called today. It changes day by day, that seems. But yeah, they are not going to be able to, in my opinion, run them out of business. No. A, because Tony's not short of cash right now, and I know the TV deal is obviously, you know, important to all this. I think people who sort of seemingly dismiss, well, it doesn't matter because they're a billionaire funded. Well, they need TV.
Yeah, this is it. He's not going to want to leak money.
No,
right? Like, you know, maybe in the first few years, like every startup, maybe they lost a bit. Who knows?
You have to.
But now, clearly, you know, they earn $185 million a year from TV alone.
And there is a good point that Dave makes there, that seemingly for a variety of different reasons, these TV deals just keep going up and up and up. Yeah. And you can not only mention WWE in this, and obviously AEW, as you mentioned there. You and I were just talking in the office about the insane deal that UFC have just struck with Paramount Plus.
$7.7 billion.
$1.1 billion a year for 7 years. So you get all the UFC shows. And Beavis and Butthead. Okay. Yeah. Sounds good to me.
And if you're a UFC fan, that's great because you don't have to buy pay-per-view anymore, right?
I watched, by the way, I'll give a shout out to the brilliant MMA On Point. I watched their video all about this. It was really good, covering all the details on that.
You could say the video was on point. That was terrible.
Sorry. They aren't going to be successful, but I can also similarly understand why they're doing it. They're not just going to in the way that WWE thinks, they aren't just going to let them flourish. They've tried a few different strategies here, like you say. They've tried different shows going up against them. They've tried, arguably to a certain point, just focus on making their product so good that people want to watch it more than they want to watch AEW. But now it's got really aggressive.
It really is, and it's one of these things where I think it's impossible to deny. Like, no one can credibly sit here and go, "Oh, it's just a coincidence that all these shows are happening on the same dates." You know, nobody can sit here and do that unless you're doing a gimmick and you're just like rage baiting people, which is entirely possible. So yeah, it's clearly what they're doing. I also don't think it'll work because, look. Yes, a company needs to have income, obviously, and this is a TV rights business now. That is the main source of income for all these promotions. So AEW does need to keep getting TV deals. However, a little talked about facet of this is the rumor that WBD, Warner Bros. Discovery, who run the networks that AEW operates on, there's a word on the street that they may have a minor ownership stake in AEW. Right?
Yes.
So that might come out as part of ongoing litigation involving AEW. I think the Jon Moxley case, or the Kevin Kelly case. One of these cases.
Yeah, one of these cases.
Yeah, one of these cases.
He's the bloke that Jon Moxley pushed over or whatever. Yeah,
which wasn't smart. I love Jon Moxley.
But they don't want to disclose all the inner workings today of an ownership of AEW.
But if that stuff comes out, if there's discovery involved in that might come to light. And if that does come to light, and Warner Bros. Discovery does have a little ownership stake, do you really think they're going to kick them off their networks?
Yeah.
Like, it's our company, get rid of it.
I'll just shoot myself in the foot whilst I'm at it.
Yeah, let's get rid of this thing we own 5% of, or whatever. It doesn't make any sense. Look, Dynamite this week finished number 1 on cable, right? We don't know for sure what these HBO Max numbers are. I don't think they're like 2 million or anything crazy like that.
Just think of a number, don't you?
Yeah. So we don't know for sure because they will never be publicly disclosed by HBO or
from what I've seen on Twitter,
they're
either 2 million or 1, as in one person's watching.
Yeah, so on a good week they get 3 people. That's when
the family's over.
Yeah, the dog watches all of that stuff.
I don't know. They're not going to disclose it. They would have done if they were going to do this already.
Yeah, but ultimately, right? If you just like watching your shows, if you tune into wrestling on a Monday, a Tuesday, a Wednesday, and a Friday, and a Saturday, congratulations, you have a lot of free time, and I respect that.
Yeah.
But also, it's probably just a massive pain in your ass. It's like, I just want to watch some shows. I don't want to watch these things button up against each other.
Yeah, and purely from a selfish point of view for me and for the content game, it is nicer when it's like, this weekend is an AEW show, this weekend is a WWE show, this weekend is a TNA show or an NXT show. I don't like it when it's like, oh cool, so I've got to watch 9 hours of wrestling before I get into work on Monday.
Yeah, it can be tough to manage, for sure. But yeah, look,
I've got a kid. It's his birthday on Saturday. What am I doing?
But this is the nature of the business. Look, WWE is, in terms of business metrics, it is streets ahead of AEW.
Yes.
It doesn't need to do this. Like, AEW is not a threat to WWE's existence.
No, me and Sidge were talking on a podcast we recorded just yesterday that's going to be going out soon, WhatCulture Wrestling Podcast, wherever you get your podcast from, about how there was a period where they were like, ooh, like WWE's product was terrible. 2019, 2020 sort of time, and AEW had just launched and were doing great stuff. And there was that bit where maybe for like a couple of weeks, I think it was, their rating was higher than Raw's, and you suddenly like alarm bells are going to be ringing.
1849, I think that was 1 week. Yeah.
So yeah, you can understand that. But now, there's leagues difference. It's just. Yeah, I mean, I'm not surprised by it. They have always wanted and enjoyed previously a monopoly on wrestling.
A couple of things. Tony Khan has always used the term challenger brand, right? He's trying to be an alternative. He's not trying to knock Goliath off its perch. People talk about like taking shots back and forth and stuff like that. AEW, that is something they previously were criticized heavily for. When was the last time they did that? It's been ages, right? It's not part of the MO anymore. For me, what AEW should do is just concentrate on having good shows, right? Just make the best product you can, and I think that's what they will do. Tony Khan has that famous press conference thing where he's like, I'm not going to stand it for it anymore, and I don't think he will. If WWE tries to bully him, he will stand up for himself. He's not some little guy. He's a bloody billionaire, right? He's not some little dude who's just messing around with his e-fed. Right? It's a serious business. Whereas WWE... look, honestly, for me, right, their best approach would be the 2022 approach. Just, again, focus on making your product really good. Well, but that's not how business works, and the big boy is gonna try and stamp on the smaller boy. Yeah, it's dirty.
Can't we all just get along, everybody?
No, is the answer.
I've looked at the comment section, and the answer is no.
Oh yeah, it's gonna be a flamethrower war down there, brother. Let's go.
But there's other big news today surrounding, or yesterday, I suppose people were talking about this, surrounding TNA. But also alongside that, as you said, we've got second news video to talk about a lot of wrestling news today. Speculation as to whether a TNA sale could be happening, and the names associated with this are fascinating, by the way. John Alba, yesterday afternoon report of Sports Illustrated, by the way, from John, reporting that TNA Wrestling was open to moving to Wednesday nights and opposing AEW, and there was no denial of those rumours by TNA President Carlos Silva, and TNA is on the market. This isn't new, big news. There have been feelers out there on the Anthem side for find potential purchasers, potential buyers making offers. Scott D'Amore publicly revealed he'd made efforts to try and buy TNA that were unsuccessful. But the name that has popped up recently, which is fascinating, is Lorenzo Fertitta. If that name rings a bell, that's because he used to be the owner of UFC before the whole TKO thing happened. The Fertitta brothers, Dana White, all obviously heavily involved in UFC over the years. And now his name has emerged as a potential buyer for TNA. Conrad Thompson simply posting as Fightful have brilliantly worded here, an ominous gif saying, Lorenzo! Yes, he did business with Dana White for decades.
Yeah.
There's obviously the relationship there so the chain of the big Charlie board of notes and things pointing to each other. WWE, TKO, UFC, Dana White, Lorenzo Fertitta, TNA, linking back to WWE. Yeah, trust me, I can't find any more about it. Look, it is a really interesting development, and you want to talk about people who've got money to burn. The Fertitta's made a lot of money with that UFC sale, of course.
Googled Lorenzo Fertitta's net worth while we were on here, $3.7 billion US, according to Forbes.
That's better, because when I Googled Simon Miller's net worth from Celebrity Birthdays, it said he was a millionaire, and I was like, he should pay for more drinks on trips then.
Yeah, oh yeah, Simon Miller is worth £900 million. He actually lives in Rapunzel's castle.
He does.
He's up there. Is that the one with the hair?
Yes.
I have no idea. I don't know how these things work.
a bald guy. Don't take the piss, mate.
Yeah. That's his constant struggle. He has to deal with all this hair going around.
Shout out for him, by the way, doing ups and downs on AEW Dynamite the other day, off like no sleep.
Yeah, poor guy.
Fair play.
He's burning all the candles at every end. This is funny. This is really funny. Because, the through line there is pretty clear. Lorenzo Fertitta, Zuffa. Is it Frank, his brother, as well?
That sounds right.
Yeah. They used to own the UFC. They sold it, and now Endeavor owns it, obviously. I'm not sure if there was another company in between those two parties. But obviously, the UFC is now owned by Endeavor, which is WWE's parent company, TKO, all of that stuff. So this is really funny. I had no idea that Lorenzo Fertitta... Is Lorenzo Fertitta a wrestling guy, or is he just a money guy?
I don't know.
I have no idea.
Like, the story of the Fertittas and Dana buying UFC and basically being pretty much out of money, going bankrupt, and then the Ultimate Fighter basically being the thing that saved it. And, I mean, look at where the UFC is now and they are now. I think it's a little from column A and a little from column B. I think everyone is secretly a little bit of a wrestling fan.
Oh, absolutely.
People like to pretend.
Absolutely.
And then sometimes they go, yeah, I really liked it when Stone Cold used to hit a stunner or whatever.
Exactly.
You can't deny it.
You're not too cool for wrestling, lads. Nobody is.
No.
But yeah, really interesting story. TNA potentially being up for sale. Sounds like this one's gaining steam. In that Dave report we just aggregated, he was like, there's some stuff that's going to come to light in the next few weeks and months. As well, Anthem's owned them for a long time. They've had various managerial figures and executives. We interviewed Carlos Silva on our channel just a couple of weeks ago. Andrew Pollard did that.
Great
It's a
chat.
very, very interesting interview. Check that out. But yeah, wild times. I'd be interested to see what a change in ownership could do for TNA. I don't think that becoming the number 2 promotion is realistic.
No.
Personally. But I think that they should just focus on being a sick number 3. And look, a billionaire buying TNA is ultimately really good for business because it means, theoretically, it's another place where people can go and get a nice fat contract. Now, that is somewhat undermined by the WWE agreement because it means that it opens situation where released WWE wrestlers might sign for pennies on the dollar, right? And all of that stuff. But I think that having a third promotion that is funded by a really rich dude is sick. So we'll see what happens long term. But
a very interesting time for TNA, isn't it?
Lorenzo Fertitta, baby. That's a name I haven't heard in about 10 years. When I was a big UFC fan, used to hear that name all the time.
Yeah.
Not so much anymore.
It'd be fascinating to see what he would do running that because, like you say, he trained alongside Dana and the other, what was his name? Frank.
Yeah.
He transformed the UFC's business. So really interested to see what happens there. Really interested to see what happens on Wednesday nights too.
Joe Hendry versus GSP in the next main
Oh,
event.
that's my day. Fantasy booking UFC fighters and TNA wrestlers.
Anderson Silva's in a tag team with Rosemary.
Yeah.
Why not? And they are
the Spider.
Yeah, there you go. They are fighting Holly Holm and who else? I almost said Cain Velasquez.
Masha Slamovich?
That's a bit difficult. Yeah, Masha Slamovich. There we go. Boom. All right, Anderson Silva in
official.
TNA. You heard it here first. That Spider. He should actually go to AEW and team up with
Technically, yeah.
Check out this video. The algorithm thinks you're going to like it. We'll be back later. Bye.
Yeah. Bye.